Well, another top trending ticker on Yahoo Finance, not just today, but really this week, has been Lumen Technologies. Thanks to the surge in AI demand and a new deal with Microsoft, Lumen has watched its stock soar over 200% in the past year. The communication services provider reported second quarter earnings on Tuesday. Here to discuss those results and these new deals is Kate Johnson, Lumen Technologies CEO. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And for people who, Lumen's been around for a little bit, but you're the CenturyLink is what Lumen used to be. So telecom company, fiber optics, connectivity is what you guys do. So how much of what you will be doing is linked to AI versus sort of more traditional telecom?
Yeah, our pivot to growth is really all about networking. We're a networking company. We run a very significant portion of the world's internet traffic on our backbone. And what you've been hearing about in the market is really a massive expansion of our network and the internet at large to start building the infrastructure for the AI economy.
I know, Kate, you gave that guidance. I know some of the street had questions just about sort of how sustainable you think the pace of that free cash flow guidance was, not just for 2024, but beyond. How do you answer that?
Yeah, so the $5 billion basically got us anointed as the trusted network for AI. It's a composition of deals. It was not one deal. It was
it was diverse.
It's more than 15 companies in that $5 billion, with several more on the horizon that we're working with and pursuing to build custom private networks for. And so it's an injection of cash into the company for sure now, which gives us free cash flow stability, which will in turn enable us to really accelerate our transformation. We're building a digital platform to make it super easy, quick, secure, effortless to consume network services, and nobody else is doing that.
So I guess to sort of build on what Josh was asking, how much runway, what is that free cash flow sustainability going forward as a result of what you're doing?
We're right at the tip of the spear. This is the very, very beginning of what we think is going to be a three-phase process of building out this AI backbone. The first phase is hyperscalers, technology companies, cloud companies. All of the companies that build AI models and train them are seeing the proliferation of data, and they're seeing that the internet of yesterday does not serve the AI of tomorrow. And so they're saying, hey, we need you to help us connect our data centers. AI requires data, lots of it. Lots of data requires lots of data center growth. Data center growth, we got to connect them. And that's what we're in the process of doing. That's just the first phase. The second phase is really about enterprises when they start using those models, inference. And we're starting to see the early signs of uptick in enterprises needing more networking capacity in order to use those AI models. The third phase is when AI is a little bit more inculcated into our everyday living, is when AI talks to AI, and we think that the data proliferation during that phase goes through the roof. This is about the next couple of decades, and it's building critical infrastructure for decades.
It's interesting, okay, because as we kind of made our way through this earnings season, and you saw not just the hyperscalers report, but then the reaction, and you saw this theme. It just seemed like investors, there was this new kind of skepticism. I think about at least some, right? Like, okay, spend, where's the return? I'm just curious how you think about that dynamic.
Every single new piece of technology goes through a J-curve. I mean, just because the big companies are well capitalized and have a ton of cash doesn't mean that they have to produce, return on the first dollar spent. There is a J-curve, and these companies, what they're seeing is this need for a different level of infrastructure, higher bandwidth, thicker pipes, faster pipes, and they're committing the capital to build out this critical infrastructure for decades to come. So the volatility of this week associated with the health of the economy, the questions around, are they getting the return right now or not? The companies that I'm working with, that my company, we are dealing with every single day, are looking at this as a 10 and a 20-year plan.
I also want to ask you about your legacy business here, because looking at the news about the deal, knowing that it's associated with AI, I was then looking at the revenue projections for the company, and revenue is not growing. Revenue is still falling and is expected to fall for the next at least year or so. Is that because the legacy business, and what do you do with the legacy business?
For sure. Telco is experiencing secular decline and has been for quite some time. And the reason why there's so much skepticism, in the story here is because we're doing something completely different than what everybody else is doing. Secular decline, you harvest for cash and you pay a dividend. That is not what we're doing. We're harvesting for cash, and we're building a digital platform to pivot to growth. And that's the difference between the two.
Gotcha. All this growth and opportunity you see, Kate, does that mean a lot more hiring for you all to meet those to meet that growth, to meet that demand, to meet those construction requirements? Or no, that's third party?
It's a great question. So obviously we have supply chain. We outsource things that aren't germane to our skill sets, but overall, this company's going through a huge transformation, and we're shape-shifting, right? So we're upskilling, reskilling, we're redeploying people away from lower value work towards higher value work, and of course, we're switching out the composition of our skill sets on a fairly regular basis.
And at the legacy business, which you said where you're harvesting the cash to then invest in this growth business, so it sounds like you wouldn't want to divest that business because you are using it for that cash generation. Is that?
Absolutely, but I think about it as customers who are going to be participating in the AI economy, and they're on legacy technologies, and they need to be moved to modern technologies, and that's what we're in the process of doing.
Kate, great to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it.